Lalitha Kumaramangalam, when you're calling, if you're calling it uniform, then you cannot have exceptions. That is the contention by Tanveer Mir. I'm coming down to another basic fundamental issue, and that is, let's say when it comes to adoption, as per Islamic law, adopted child is not recognized as a legal heir, especially when there is a biological child and then there is an adopted child. An adopted child is not necessarily recognized as a legal heir. Even when it comes to divorce, a Muslim woman has to go through the period of what is called iddat. It could be 3 months, it could be 6 months before she is allowed to remarry, whereas a Muslim man has no such restrictions. I think what it's coming down to, and I explained about inheritance and succession as well, what it's coming down to is you cannot have practices that are violative of right to equality among men and women just because it happens to be protected under Article 25 or protected under personal laws.
Yeah. Today I don't speak as a politician, I speak as a woman. For generations across the board, and I have to admit this is across all religions, basically religion is very, very patriarchal. The Uniform Civil Code, before the Uniform Civil Code has been is being suggested to be brought in as it is now, we've had the codification of Hindu and Christian laws. All religions have been very unfair to women over the various millennia. What is in the past is in the past. Today, what the government, I think, is trying to do is bring in as much as a sense of equity amongst both and women. Now, when Mr. Tanveer says that it should apply to everybody, that the moment you bring in any point or any section that says the particular population or a particular way of life or culture or whatever other word one wants to give it can be exempt, he's right, there will be trouble. Because people will go to the courts, the Supreme Court, and it will drag out. The other point here is that an adoptive child should have the same rights as a child that is genetically belongs to a couple.
Yeah.
If you want to adopt a child, then I think it's only fair that you treat that child fairly. Now, this is under Muslim law, but the fact is that over the years, in the name of culture, in the name of politics, in the name of religion, women have not been given equal rights. Whether it is women being married off too young, whether it is women not getting a fair share in their property, etc. Let me remind all the panelists, just this recently, last year, the Supreme Court has ruled saying that under the Hindu undivided family law, girls get equal rights, and this is with retrospective effect from the mid-1950s.
Yeah.
So that has, in the Supreme Court there had to step in and bring in some sense of justice. All religions, Jain, Sikh, whether it's Bora Muslims or non-Shia Muslims, etc., everybody will have to follow and should follow the UCC. All girls should have an equal chance, at least.
Okay.
With regard to the age of marriage, it was increased from 18 to 21 just recently, as you know. All young girls want to be able to go to college. In today's day and age, where information is available at literally the click of a button or at the end of your fingertips, everybody wants to have a chance to be their own masters. I don't think that it is fair to say that generations and millennia of Indian customs, regardless again of the religion one may belong to, are going to be blown to smithereens just because girls are educated, or that they are given a chance to be able to stand on their own feet. I think you're being very, very unfair to women. If anybody says that,
so let me
even
ask,
if other women say that, I would say they are being very unfair to women.
Yeah, let me ask.
What the UCC does give to across the board, again, I'm saying every woman from every religion is an equal chance.
Okay.
I'm not saying that these laws may not be broken. All laws are broken quite often.
So it's about an equal chance.
It gives the promise to a young girl that yes, you too can compete.
Let me
ask. You can show that you can do it.
Sure. Let me ask Wajahat Habibullah. This survey that we've undertaken, Mr. Habibullah, more than 8,000 Muslim women have participated. More than 90% of them have voluntarily shared their name, identity, address, etc. But we have withheld all of that in the interest of their privacy. And this is across 25 states, 8,000 women, more than 800 reporters have gone out. And this is not a Twitter or a Facebook poll. This is a physical poll where a link was sent to them. a mobile link, they fill up a questionnaire, and then they upload that. A professional licensed software was used to collate the data, and we're presenting the results of that. Do you think, and this is something that has been sort of bothering a lot of people, you have self-appointed custodians, representatives of the community who are saying one thing, and then you have an overwhelming majority of women of the community whose opinion seems to be completely at dissonance with what these self-appointed custodians are saying, as is evident from today's survey. How would you see this dissonance?
Well, it's a little difficult to answer your question. Have you seen the draft of the Uniform Civil Code? If you have, I'd be happy to be enlightened by it, because I haven't seen the draft. And without seeing the draft, how do I tell you whether it is beneficial to Muslim women or to other Muslims or not? I think this is a question. The Uniform Civil Code does not only going to apply to the Muslim personal law, it will apply to all personal laws, I suppose. But I haven't seen the Uniform Civil Code. So please tell me what it is before I can answer your question.
No, you're right. The draft has not been circulated because right now the Law Commission is inviting suggestions from the public. But I want to ask you on a matter of principle. So, for example, inheritance of ancestral property, why should the woman be entitled to only 1/4 of the property and the man be entitled to half? Isn't that discriminatory, Mr. Habibullah?
Well, that is true of unfortunately, most communities. That is true. And certainly reform in the personal law. Now, if that is the question that you're putting to me, does Muslim personal law require amendment? Well, certainly. And so do the personal laws of other communities, like the Anand Marriage Act and so on, and the tribal communities, the Lingayats.
Okay.
Certainly, these all require to be brought to modernized in consonance with how the rights of women have evolved. But why are you simply raising the question of Muslim women? The Uniform Civil Code will not apply only to Muslims. Or so are you suggesting that it will apply only to Muslims?
No, of course not. It will apply to all Indians. So that's why it's called a Uniform Civil Code, which is why Vishnu